Well, good morning, everyone. It's Helen. It is Simply Words. Here we are again. It is letter S today. The sun is shining in Milton Keynes. It's looking like it could be a really lovely day here. Hope the weather's good where you are as well. If you are a morning Rose, thank you for joining me. Oh, people are joining really quickly this morning, I can see. If you are joining me, you're going to need your morning Jan. You're going to need your basic tools of the trade for Sanntangle. I'll go through these, what colours that we're going to need, but you're going to need your circle frame stencil if you've got one. You're going to need your red ruler. You're going to need your 03 Sanntangle pen, as always. Your mechanical pencil if you've got one. If not, your B2 pencil, which is the red and black. Your trusty tortillon. I've actually cracked out a new one today. And then you are going to need a tile as well. Of course you're going to need a tile, aren't you? I've got an inked one. I've got a sandy coloured one. And so I chose some colours that I think might work today with that. So I'll just twist these around so you can see the colours. And these are from the dark edition. They are coffee. Let me just fiddle around with these. So you have got coffee. Shall we go this way? You've got warm ochre, hot chocolate and foundation. I don't think we use these colours very often, or I don't, so I thought these would blend quite nicely with the coloured card I've got, the regular tile. So you're also going to need your largest letters, alphabet letters, letter S. Hi Susan, I hope you're okay, my lovely. Lovely to have you with us. Lots of love and hugs. We are going to use the capital letters on the largest stencil, and you can see letter S is there, and that's the one we're going to work with. But before we get to letter S, we're going to need our tile, our circle frame stencil and our pencil. Okay, and the first thing we need to do is find the centre of our tile. So I think Sandra did this yesterday on the 2 o'clock. The quickest and easiest way is to go diagonally with your ruler and mark it in the middle. And again, the other way, diagonally, and do exactly the same, and you'll find your point. You'll find your centre point. Let me just see if I can zoom in a bit so you can see. Hopefully that's a bit better for you. Now I've already drafted some of this out to save us a bit of time, but I will take you through it. So then I took my circle frame stencil, the centre point here, I placed over the centre point on my tile, and then I ignored this first row. This is row 1. I went to row 2 and drew all the way around it, row 3 and drew all the way around it, and row 4 and drew all the way around it. And then I marked a pencil mark in every dot on the outer row. And I think most people know how to do this now. And then what I did, I took my ruler and I went to break it all up into smaller sections. And I started with one of the points on the outer row, found my middle point and drew a line to start dividing up the spaces. I've already gone around and done that on this one, but I've got a couple left, so I'll show you how to do it in real time. So here we go. So find the dot, line it up with that centre part, the centre dot, sorry, and just join up your lines and you'll have smaller spaces. Now, I'm looking through the wrong part of my glasses, so my lines are not going to be perfectly over the dots, but you'll get the idea. And what I want to do is create a frame really for our letter, so that's why I'm doing it this way. Then I'm going to grab my 03 fine liner pen. No, I'm not. I'm going to stay with pencil, and what I'm going to do is in every square, so I'm going to start here almost left of the 12 o'clock if this was a clock, and all I'm going to do on the outer row in pencil is a bit of a curved line from bottom left of the square to top right. I'm going to do that all the way around, just a curve all the way around. I'm pressing a bit harder so you can see what I'm doing. I can see people joining us now. Hi, Sue. Thank you for joining us this morning. I hope you're all okay. It's going to be a nice day. I was saying earlier, it looks like it's going to be a nice day, so I'm going to be able to get my washing out. And Jeff was talking about mowing the grass. Whether we'll get that far is another matter, because we've got a lot going on this weekend. We've got to start or finish packing, because we're going on holiday on Monday, and we've got a few things we need to do. So you can see now where my marks are and those curved lines. Now I'm going to pick up my pen, my O3 pen, and I'm going to think about not the straight lines that we've penciled in when we divided up the squares. I want to focus on the curves. So I want to go point to point where the top of the curve is and the next top of the curve, and I'm going to join that with a curve with my pen. I'm going to do that. Now you can see this one goes off the tile slightly. I'm not worried about it, it's just a hint there. And then I'm going to go again, point to point, and again, point to point, all the way around. Again, this is going slightly off my tile, but I'm just not worried about it. And again, and again. Hi Maureen. Sunny in the Midlands. Oh, that's great. Hi, sunny in, oh, I think you're in the West. Are you in the West Midlands, Rose, or nearby? Oh, that's really good. Hi, Hazel. Thank you for joining us. It's great to have you on board. Hi, Marie. Oh, your messages have come in really quickly this morning. Hi, Sharon. Hope you're okay. I bet the weather's gorgeous down in Christchurch, isn't it? So let's carry on doing this. I'm going the other way with that one. And then I'm going to join all these points, all these curves. It'll just about fit on there. I'm going to go the opposite way just to get it in. And then we'll carry on all the way around. I'm still focusing on these curved lines. So I'm going to take the bottom now of my curve, and I'm going to go, I'm not going to go over, I'm going to go under. And I'm going to go from this left point, I'm doing a little curve, and then I'm going to follow it to the top of that right curve there. So let's have a look at that and see what that looks like. Okay, so you've got a funny curved diamond shape, I would say, to the next one. So let's go again, and a curve under and follow the curved line through. Curve under and through. Curve under and through to the top. Keep going all the way around again. So this is going to form the outer row of our circle frame that we've drawn in. I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing. It's looking okay from my perspective on the camera, so hopefully we'll get a really nice pattern going on. Oh, missed that a bit, so we'll go back and just touch that up. Let's go this way. I am working at an angle. Remember to turn your card as well as you go, because that's always helpful, always helpful. So you should have something that looks like this, okay? Now I want to focus on, for the moment, I want to focus on this second row. And as you can see, the circle goes around a certain way. It's almost like we did this curve at the top. I'm going to go the opposite way. So I'm going to do what I call an underarm curve, like we did here with the rope. So in each of these squares, and they're still pencil lines, I'm going to curve from point to point again. But I'm going to keep it quite shallow. I'm not going to go deep with it, because I want this space for my letter S. So point to point, a little under curve, as I call it. Point to point, use your pencil line as a guide, but keep it on the line if you can. Okay, all the way around, all the way around. It doesn't take too long, because it's a small tile, so it's not going to take long to do it, but we are filling a lot of the tile. Some of the other tiles that I've done with the letters we haven't filled the whole tile, but this is. So I thought we'd do something a bit different. And then you can see now I've got these straight lines. I'm going to go over them in pen. I'm not going to do anything different, rub them out or anything. I'm going to do that. Just join them up, straight lines as they are in pencil, go over them. That's pretty straightforward, and it doesn't matter. You can see I'm not using a ruler, and you can see some of them are going to be a bit wobbly, but again, it doesn't matter because this is my tile, it's no one else's, and it's going to go in my alphabet book as part of my journey for doing all of these letters. One more, and there we go. Okay, so once we've done that, just forgive me a minute because I need to turn it around. Once we've done that, I'm just going to put my pen away for a moment because I'm going to need my pencil. I'm going to take my alphabet letter. Oh, Worcester, right, yeah, so you're not too far then from Birmingham. Already looking good, thank you. Thanks, Maureen. It's just a bit different today because you know, we're trying to do something different with every one that we do. So now I'm going to place my letter S, and I'm using this center point as my guide. So I'm going to place my letter S. I'm going to line it, the bottom of my tile up with where these letters, the row below the letter S starts, or the top of those letters. Okay, so that's where we need to head. Now, the trick to this one, the one I'm wanting to do is, I'm just going to try and get it straight, otherwise it'll look really weird. It'll look very wonky. The trick to this is, I'm not going to make it square. So I'm just going to, let me just double check something, everyone. So I've moved it slightly over to the left. And as you can see through the stencil, it's quite close to these two curved lines. So when I've got my act together and sorted this out, we'll be able to draw in the letter S, I think, she says. I'm going to bring it over slightly. It never works out quite how you want it when you draw it out. So I'm going to draw across the top here and round the curve there. I'm going to do the inside curve, and then I'm going to bring it round here, and I'm going to go the bottom straight bit and the top straight bit and back there. And if I'm lucky, I should have the shape of a letter S. Okay, that looks quite good. So now this is where we need to do a little bit of fiddling, because I don't want it to be a block letter. I want it to be a bit more curved. So what I want to do, I'm going to turn my card because that's the way I work. I think most of you know now. So what I want to do, see the straight line here? I want to go from the curve on the left of the S, and I'm not gonna keep it straight. I'm going to give it a little bit of curvy shape. So what I'm trying to do is create a curvy S, not a square S, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to just put a curve joining the two straight lines together. And then what I want to do is join up where the gap is there. Okay, bring it round, join that bit up with pencil. And then this bottom part of the S, because I've turned my card round, I want to make that a bit curvy too. And I'm going to then join the two straight lines with a curve. So it's not as square as we've done with some of the other letters, if you notice. And then I'm going to join it up and bring it around. Okay, so that looks slightly different. Now, I will need my rubber to rub out that straight line so I can see what I'm doing. Don't want too many pencil lines in the way. And what I've also done across the bottom is I've drawn a line, and I'm going to keep it in pencil because I want to shade at the bottom. So now it's got something it's sitting on. Okay, so let's see where we go next. Hi Nikki, hope you're okay. So now I want to grab my pen, and now I've made it a little bit more curvy, I'm going to pen it in. Now, I'm not particularly steady this morning, so do bear with me. It is touching the curve of that row that we did, that circle row. So I'm just going to draw around it because I want it all to be curvy. And I want it to be curvy because it's different, and all of our other letters are fairly squarish, if you like. I'm just going to make that a little bit curvy at the bottom as well. Now you will take your time with this because you will have more time than I have, especially today as I've got so much on at the moment. We just had, we're flying on Monday, and we just had a notification to say we can now check in. So I've got to, I'm not very tech savvy with my phone, so I've got to work out how we do that. Okay, so that's where we've got to so far. It's an S, and it's what I've tried to do is create a porthole or a window. So we're looking through the middle of that window to see where the S is. And I've got a couple of finished ones, so I'll show you what I was aiming for afterwards. Now, with the S, I want to tangle this letter. I'm not going to keep it plain. So what I'm going to do, and this is quite, I think this is one we've not done for quite a while. I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to turn it because I work at an angle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a curve and then leave a gap and do quite a wide gap. Let me just see if I can go in any more. A wide gap. And I'm going to then fill this in. Okay, and I'm not going to spend ages filling it in, but just to give you enough of an idea of where we're heading. Now, once I've done that, I want to actually put a mirror curve closer each side to that wide section. Okay, now if you want to, it's up to you. If you want to, you could put 3 dashes following that curve either side as well to enhance your pattern. I think I'm going to leave it for the moment. And then I'm going to move my way around the S, and I'm going to do this all the way around. So a curve, slightly wider, and then one closer and one a bit closer. Okay, and then fill it in. I would say you might be better off using an 05 to fill in, not an 03. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day doing these. But I didn't grab my 05 pen, so I'm doing it with my 03. But that should be okay. Okay, we're going to go again, and we're going to do the curve the same way all the time. Alrighty, so let's go again. And it doesn't matter where you put these. And fill it in. I'm going to wear my nib down as well if I'm not careful. So, and sometimes I'm a bit heavy-handed, so I just need to go a bit more gentle, I think. Let's go again and make it curvy. Okay, Nikki, morning. Oh. Hi Susan, I see you've checked in a couple of times. Hope the signal's all right for everybody. One of my favourite tangles. This is an old, we did this many moons ago, I think, Nikki, this one. I haven't done it for ages, and I thought this would be quite nice on the letter S. So here we go. Let's do one more. Fill it in. And you can see this one is narrower one side than the other, but I'm not worried. It's just how the pen, you have to follow the pen sometimes. It's just how it is. Okay, and turn your card. We're nearly there, probably a couple more. Turn your card and off we go again. Fill it in. You probably can see how messy this is, but that's okay. I can neaten it up, I'll tidy it up afterwards and then put a photo up. And then I think we've got room for one more. I would say let's go here, narrower there, narrower there. So the tip of the curvy S we're leaving blank, we're not going right to the end. Okay. Like so. So now we've got something that is looking like it's tangled in the middle, and you can still see the shape of the S. Okay, so far so good. So I'm going to just let that dry a minute, because what I want to do is rub out and put the lid back on my pen. I want to rub out all these lines in the outer row, because I don't need these straight lines because it's just going to confuse us. So rub out your lines, make sure your ink is dry, as we always say, and it doesn't matter if you go off the pencil, because the pencil line is just a guide. Okay, and once we've shaded this, you won't see them anyway. So I'm nearly there. Just rub all this out very quickly. Okay, hopefully I've not missed any. Maybe, maybe a couple. Okay, now the key to this is to, my tile's a bit curling still from when I inked it. So the key to this now is I want to start, I'm not going to worry about my letter S for a minute. All right, I'll just bring it down a bit so you can see. What I want to do is grab my colours. And I've gone with, as I said earlier, we have got foundation from the dark edition. They're all from the dark edition. Warm ochre. We have then got coffee and hot chocolate. And I was saying, I don't use these browns very often. I don't use the browns from the original set either very much. So I thought it would be nice to just have a go and see what it looks like on this tile. So I'm going to start with my coffee, start with my darkest colour. So they're in order now of the colours: dark, medium, light, and this one we'll use a bit to blend the foundation. There's also brown sugar from the original set. I think that might work as well. But I'm going to start with coffee. I'm going to show you a couple of these and what we do to get the effect. Okay, and I did make sure, everyone, your pencils you do have a point. And I'm going to follow one of the straight lines. I'm just going to follow it and do some zigzags off the straight line, coming off the straight line. I'm going to go the other side as well, do exactly the same, just to get some colour on. I'm going to do another one on the other line, on the other side of this little square curved shape, a squirve, I'm going to call it. I just made that up, by the way, isn't it? I don't know if it does exist, but hey ho. We've got a couple of squirves that we're going to colour in. And I'm just doing some little small zigzags on the straight line. Is it a word? I don't know. We might have to look it up. I'm sure somebody will tell me if I'm talking rubbish. So we'll do a couple of these just to give you an idea of how it should pan out all the way around. Okay, so that was the coffee. Then I want to move to hot chocolate, which is the medium colour, and I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to come back and I'm going to go over my hot chocolate, over my coffee, and add some more zigzags, coming in a little bit further into the square. Just do a little bit, because we can go over this, and we're going to do it either side. So you can see I'm starting to come in a little bit. I'm not going all the way into the middle, just doing it a little bit. I think Susan's still with us, so she'll tell me if I'm doing this right or wrong, because she's brilliant at colouring. So here we go, just a little bit, not all the way over the darkest colour, just bringing it in, going over the darker colour, over the coffee a little bit, because we'll be able to blend it in a minute. Okay, and then I don't think I did this one, so we'll go here, do this one as well. Okay, then I'm going to grab my warm ochre. I love this colour, and I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to go over the hot chocolate, but come further in towards the middle, a little bit further in. I've only got one layer on so far, but I'm going to bring it in either side to the middle. Let me see if you can, hopefully you can see that a bit better. I'm going to do that on each of these squares. Okay, this is looking quite nice. Turn my card, because you'll start to see how these colours work together. Is that, hi Rose, have you packed? Yeah. So Rose, every time we go away, especially when we do a big holiday or long haul, as I call it, because we've got 2 very long flights. We're going into Tokyo, we're going to Japan. We've got 2 very long flights. I do a memory book. So I make memory books for our holidays, and we put photos in, and we put, you know, tickets and things like that in. So I have invested in a little watercolour travel set, and I've already started looking at that and putting some drawings together for the memory book. And yes, so I've got my Japan stencil, I've got the small alphabet letter stencil, yin yang, those kinds of things that I've got. And yeah, I've got them ready. I haven't packed them yet, but I'll try. What I will try and do is send pictures. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'll try and send pictures of where we are. Just coming back in for the minute with the middle colour, which is the hot chocolate. Okay. And then I'm going to come back in again, and I'm going to go a bit darker, press a bit harder now with the coffee, which is my darkest colour. All right. Hope you're liking this. It's a bit different. But I'll show you the one I did, which was my practice one. And I use greens because that's my favourite colour, greens and blues and aquamarines. So I'm just going to go about there. And then I'm going to come back to my hot chocolate, which is my middle colour. And bring it in a bit more. What's this? Chris, Helen, not sure if I've told you recently, I don't like you anymore. Oh, Chris, this has been on our list for a long time. I've got to say, it's been on our list for a long time, and we've really not travelled since COVID, and we both work really hard, and I've got a full-time day job as well as doing this part-time, so I think we deserve it. And I look after my mum, so sometimes you just need a break. So yeah, I've got a lot on. Right, so I'm back now with my warm ochre. I'm just coming in a bit more towards the middle. But Chris, I still love you, even though you don't like me anymore. That's hilarious. Oh, yeah, we've got 2 days in Tokyo, in a hotel somewhere near the port. And then we're embarking on a cruise around Japan. We can't wait. We can't wait. And then the cruise ship takes us up to South Korea. So we're stopping in Busan. We do a day there. And then we've got 2 days in Seoul before we fly home. So it's a good 3 weeks away. And hopefully I'll probably need a holiday when I get back. And then I'm going to go to, so you can see, actually, let me just bring in, that's quite a big gap. I want a smaller gap here in this one. So let's bring in now the foundation. And I want to just blend from the middle. So I'm starting in the middle, and I'm just going to blend across. I didn't want white. I just wanted it a little bit more subtle because I thought white would be too stark. Yes, you could blend with your yellow, one of your paler yellows if you wanted to. But hopefully now you can see where this is heading. Okay. So from where I'm standing, it looks okay. Now I want to focus on, we'll leave that there, but you can see where it's going. Okay. So it's starting to look 3D with the colours on it. Where I want to go to next is with my, I'm going to use my red and black pencil, this one, which is the 2B that we all love and know. And I want to shade on the inside of my letter S. I'm just going to add some graphite, apply some pencil graphite. What's the, Chris just pointed out, I know you're joking. I know. Oh dear. I was a bit worried because Jeff's company were doing ID checks and making sure all their records were up to date. So he had to take his passport into work yesterday, I think it was. And I did say, please don't forget, because you need it for Monday. So I'm just applying some graphite on the inside of each side of the S. Okay. And I've gone quite heavy with it. So let's see how this goes. I tell you what though, we've emptied the fridge almost. We've got hardly any food, so I don't know what we're going to do for the next couple of days. And then I'm going to crack open. I think I said earlier, I've got a new clean tortillon. So I'm just going to start moving the graphite. I'm going to just swirl it a little bit around. I'm not going all the way in. I'm going towards the middle of the letter, but I'm not going all the way in. So let's just swirl it around. Now this bit is a bit narrower, so when you actually shape your letter, if you want to make this a bit wider here, you can make it more of a curve. You can do that. So I'm just going to swirl this and get some shading in. You can always go back and do more afterwards if you're not happy with it. What's this? I'm still jealous. Yeah. Sorry, I just don't have enough room to put you in my suitcase, Chris. Otherwise, we'd be doing a Sanntangle cruise somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. That would be great, wouldn't it? Maybe we should talk to Sandra about that. I mean, I know it wouldn't be for everyone because not everyone's keen on water and boats. But I must admit, I'm better on a boat than I am in the air. So I struggle with motion sickness. Okay, so there we have something that looks like a shaded S. So now I want to show you how to shade this rope, because I'm not adding colour to the rope. You could use these same colours to make it look like a rope effect, more realistic, but I'm not. I'm going to graphite this. So add some graphite in the corner of your little rope section. I did a video on this. It should still be somewhere on my Facebook page. So have a look and see if it's still there. If not, I'll repost it. But I did do a video on how to do the rope and how to shade it. So we just add a bit of graphite, top and bottom, top right corner, bottom left, all the way around for each one. Okay. And then grab your lovely tortillon if you've got a new one. It's always exciting, isn't it? And start to shade. Just start to shade it out. Get the graphite moving. And go heavier than I have if you want to as well. It depends on what you want. If you want it lighter, it's more subtle. Hi Rose, I'm surprised Dobby didn't get crashed. Listen, Rose, I've got McAtee to worry about. I couldn't be dealing with Dobby as well. Can you imagine if those two got together? Crikey, that would be carnage. I don't think it would be much of a holiday, because they'd want to be getting into all sorts, wouldn't they? McAtee would just graffiti the whole ship, I think, because that's what she does. She's really arty, really creative. So I'm just going to bring this into the middle to leave a gap so that you've got a highlight in the middle, and ease off the pressure as you come to the middle of each section. So hopefully you can see where this is headed now and what it will look like when it's finished. It's just a bit different. I have got the point there of the end of the rope, so I'm going to bring in some graphite there. Okay, so you can see what that's starting to look like. You can see what the sepia colours are doing, as Nikki calls them. And Titanic comes to mind. Oh, Maureen, you're hilarious. That's made me laugh. Yeah, as long as they don't show the film while we're actually sailing, we'll be fine. Okay, so then you remember earlier I drew a straight line in pencil across the underneath the S. I'm just going to add that shaded a little bit and a little bit under the S to give it a shadow. Okay, and I'm not going to go all the way around. I'm going to let you choose your colours and choose your coloured tile if you're doing it on an ink tile, or even if you're doing it on a plain tile, choose some really bright, vibrant colours to do your frill for your second row. But that's essentially the construction of this tile this morning. I will finish this and I'll put a photo up. But let me show you. Sorry, I've got my arm across the camera. Let me show you. This is my draft, and I tangled the letter. Did lots of little patterns and tangles in there. Probably get accused of drug running. Oh, your imaginations are hilarious. It goes down really well though. Oh, you're hilarious, Chris. So yeah, so here's the one I did all in graphite. I added some tangles in the letter S, and then I changed my mind because I do test, if Nikki and I do test things out. And then I went with green. So I've got a green ink tile with a little bit of orange here on the right. And I did my S in the middle. I did green. I used, these are the original pencil set, the greens. And then I added graphite around the rope. The other thing is, don't forget to sign your tile when it's finished. So this one I'm going to put my initials on because I am quite happy with it. I'm going to put it in the corner. I will finish this one, but you can see as well on this green one, if I just zoom in for you, I did put some little dashes around, if you see, to give it a bit more character and a bit more depth. So I might just add those to the one on this side. I'll see how I go. But thank you for joining me, everyone. I will finish this and post all the different versions, so you've got options and choices. But I'm hoping that when you hold this at arm's length, you are looking through a porthole and you can see the letter through the hole. The other thing that I wanted to point out here, that I've got some shadow I've filled in ink. That I lined up the letters again, and you've got the R and the tip of the T, or the edge of the T. So it looks like these letters are also coming through across the porthole like a bit of a slideshow. And all I did was place the letter S back over the pattern that I did. And then you can see now where the letter R, let me just make sure that's in place, otherwise it won't look right. You can see where I drew around the outside of the letter R and the little tip of the T. So if you wanted to do that to give it a little bit of extra interest, so you can see the letters just hiding behind this porthole frame. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. Thank you, Susan. We will, once I've got my granddaughter coming in a minute. Once they've left, then we'll finish packing and get organised. But I will see you in a few weeks. I'm leaving you in the capable hands of Nikki. She's going to do letter T and letter U, and then I'll be back for letter V. But yeah, I will miss you all, but I will see you all on the other side. Thank you for joining me this morning. You've been great. See you soon. Bye.